The biggest show this season, and one of my favourites, is My Hero Academia. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's that other big anime superhero show with less one-punching and more high school-based shenanigans. Being the biggest show this season and being licensed by Funimation, there was no question on it getting a broadcast dub. But how good is that dub? Hello and welcome to Fighting for Nippon. I'm the Doc Dazza, and today we're doing a dub vs sub on the first broadcast dub episode of My Hero Academia. Let's do this. We start off in the first 30 seconds with Deku saying in Japanese that but in the dub,
if you keep on hurting him, I'll stop you myself.
Both have the same kind of meaning in the context, but frames Bakugo as more of a bully in Deku's mind, whereas Deku actually looks up to Bakugo because of his quirk, even if he is a bully. This reinforcement of Bakugo being a bully from Funimation comes when Bakugo says,
"The school's already crappy. You really want to embarrass it more by failing so hard?"
This line doesn't appear in the subs at all, nor in the manga. Funimation inserted it to make Bakugo have this snobbish attitude towards his school and look more elitist.
Here's the sad truth.
Was never in the Japanese script, only the line. This inserted line helps frame the narrative a bit better, but also helps spoon feed the audience into telling them how to feel for Deku, when we can clearly see he's not in a great state. One thing the dub does is that they make Deku feel more like a teenager and make him seem more relevant. He speaks much like Spider-Man does in the new Civil War film. One example of that is the use of
totally
just before
normal.
In this line,
the supernatural became the totally normal,
which isn't there in the subs, as they're not only just translating the show but localizing it as well. Here they removed the term limelight in the dub and replaced it with
a new profession dominated our collective consciousness,
which doesn't seem like it matters at all, but considering heroes are being billed as celebrities in this world, the term limelight would drive that home a bit better. 10 seconds later, "it
was an age of heroes"
never actually appears in the subs, nor does any references to comic books right here. Though a line about comic books does show up later in the subbed version when Deku continues explaining the world to the audience. Awkwardly, they changed Deku's line from to changing the context of it and making it seem like Deku already knows who's fighting, which makes him screaming, "It's Kamui once!" a little awkward a few seconds later. The introduction of Mount Lady is probably one of the best localized pieces in the episode, with the cameramen saying which, while making them seem more perverted in the subs that say makes sense because they're obviously this world's form of paparazzi. Being said though, it is Mount Lady. You'd want a picture of dat booty. Here we lose the line in the dubbed version, where instead of the conversation being someone being supportive of Deku, they're just asking him if he wants to be a hero too. Pretty lame.
These guys will be lucky to end up as sidekicks to some busted D-lister.
This is the first place in the dub that we learn about sidekicks and how some heroes might have them from Bakugo, giving us a little bit of world building much early in the dubbed version, as the sub version line reads, hinting at a hierarchy, but not yet talking about the sidekick hero dynamic. One of the biggest moments in the series is All Might's introduction through a video that plays on Deku's computer.
Because I am here!
In the dub, played by Christopher Sabat,
Look, he's got more!
All Might sounds very heroic, though very typical, very much like Superman. But the Japanese All Might, played by Kenta Miyake, has a deeper, more bassier tone in the voice, which I think works better for All Might. when All Might is complaining about the
city sewer system is pretty difficult to navigate.
in the dub, in the sub version he's actually apologizing to Deku because,
慣れない土地で浮かれちゃったかな。
which changes that line completely and makes All Might seem less flawed and removes the humanization of the character in this scene. All Might is supposed to be the cliche of all Silver Age comic book heroes, but in the dub they insert words like
Justicing
and
the evildoer.
just to hammer home those cliches and prop him up a bit more. This also continues when All Might is saying his goodbyes. In the dub, he tells Deku to
Stay out of trouble.
making him seem like the perfect hero that could do no wrong, whereas in the subbed version he says,
液晶越しにまた会おう。
which makes him look that little more arrogant and that little more flawed. Though I do love how they kept the
Shit. Language.
All in all, I think Funimation did a great job of the My Hero Academia dub. I pretty much love the entire cast besides All Might. I love how they teenified Deku to make him seem a lot more like your typical American teen, though in doing so, they make the rest of the show a bit more obvious. Bakugo is a jerk, we can see that by his actions. Words don't have to be inserted into his mouth to spell it out for us. Neither with how we should feel. Changing the lines changes their context and intentions. It was the intention to show that while All Might is the biggest hero in the world, he's also very much human. We lost that in the dub, which makes me sad, but hey, we've still got a bunch more episodes to go. So, what did you think of the dub of My Hero Academia? Good? Bad? Indifferent? It's not the Japanese, so screw everything about it. Just let me know down below and in a poll right here. In any case, I'm Dr. Dazza, you're watching FFN for Nippon, and until next time guys, Matane.